All right, we'll go ahead and start
I
now.
was gonna say, it's your last game. What are your plans for the future?
For who? Durlot?
For Samson,
Oh,
right? Samson.
Samson is going into command.
yes, that was what it was. So that was the other thing I was thinking about. So basically, um, Samson is still going to be technically in like a command training program thing. So if Durlock wanted to play as Samson in that command kind of training program, during the Starfleet Academy game, he could totally do that. So I think it's only like 6 weeks. It's only like a 6 week program. So basically, he won't be able to obviously play as Samson in the command program throughout the entire year of next year or next semester, but he could still play as Samson a little bit here and there, and maybe even come back as like a command level officer, still an ensign, but like as a you know he's put in charge of the cadets or to go on a mission or something. So um all right, so yeah, you see this is episode 14, Onward to Untold Discoveries. I'm going to move you to the auditorium, or I should call it amphitheater. It's pretty big. I'll go ahead and give you guys a general idea of what's going on. So, Commandant Massey is the Commandant of Starfleet Academy. He is standing in the center. Um, Over here is the band, the Starfleet Marine Corps band. Lieutenant Runa is kind of. Oh, before I go on, let me move. Where is it? Mamos over. Lieutenant Runa and Mamos are kind of in the middle, observing. Basically, their job is to observe the audience as well as um, everything else, and just make sure that everything it goes according to plan, and intervene if necessary, or but also, no matter what you're doing, everyone needs to make sure that they are kind of standing or sitting if you're in the audience, um, in a very disciplined manner, because Starfleet's a military, so they want everyone to basically be, especially now during this occasion, to be at their utmost disciplined appearance. We'll move him back here since he's not here yet. Also her. Um, so yeah, over here we got Edgeford's character, a bunch of random cadets, my character. In the back of the amphitheater, we have the cadets um, that are graduating, or they call it commencing, which just means you're commencing your career. And Mr. Sampson is fourth in line out of like 200. So, because I didn't want to put him in the middle and have to call out that many names. So he's fourth in line. And then we got a bunch of other cadets that will be also presented with their certificate or their diploma. All right. So, and I actually did watch some, even though I was in the military and I went to boot camp and stuff. It's been a long time, so I don't remember how all this goes down. So I did watch some academy and military school graduation videos to kind of remind myself of some things. So basically, at this moment, April 2401. Um, we're in the hurry up and wait stage, where you've got a bunch of kind of flag officers up front giving their little speeches about how these cadets are the greatest cadets that any space navy has ever seen, and the whole spiel. The year four cadets are in the back. You can hear the muffled speeches, but you can't really make out everything. Um, you have a actually Lieutenant Mamos approaches, and she is going to kind of, when she gives you the gesture, which everything would have been rehearsed like for days or maybe even weeks beforehand. So you guys already know the deal. knowing the deal and doing it are two different things. So when she gives you the gesture to go, walk down in a line down the center of the amphitheater and stand up at the front, so they can give you your diploma, that's what you guys will do. Um, Give me 1 second. All right, so yeah, Cadet Samson, and in front of you and behind you. So these guys, these three guys or people, and this one guy are the bullies that your character used to know and used to have to deal with. Vivek, Samson, and a couple other Year 4 cadets. If you guys remember, those of you who have been here for a while will remember that you guys were standing up for the younger cadets, the newer cadets when they first showed up. And these are those cadets that you were standing up against. They're not. They have improved a bit. They're not as bad as they were. However, they're still they're still troublemakers. But they're not as bad as like to be kicked out of Starfleet Academy. They're not going to start fights or anything like that. Um, let's see. So just looking through my notes real quick. I will need Mr. Sampson to give me a fitness and command roll, if you're on roll 20. Um, this is
All right, let me get my character sheet up.
All right, and this is just your ability to stand. So when I was in ROTC, I had to stand at attention, which is like the most rigid position, for 8 hours straight. So we'll see how well you do.
And then subtly rock on your heels so no one notices.
Yeah. So I'll let you decide, Samson. You don't fail to the point where you're gonna fall on your face or anything, but I'll let you decide like how your character is feeling, and how your character kind of tries to remain at attention, but subtly, kind of is perhaps not used to this level of exertion on their body. So yeah, go ahead and tell me how your character handles this.
He starts overly leaning forward and then catches himself and straightens up.
Behind you, you hear Cadet Johnson say, he whispers, "What's the matter? You gonna lose your lunch?" And kind of chuckles.
Trying to stay awake through the boring speeches.
Yeah, he chuckles at that. You see a quick glare from Lieutenant Mamos to both of you, and she just gives you both that look where it's like, zip it, but she does it with her eyes only, and you both know what that means.
I snap to attention at that.
So, effectively, the Lieutenant Mamos, who is listening to the commandant's speech on her comm badge, he says something that is kind of like the cue for her to start, gesturing for the cadets to start moving, and steps and basically kind of leads you guys down the this little corridor of chairs in the center towards the front. And Commandant Massey says, "And we now invite the graduates of Starfleet Academy to come and stand up front so they can receive their certificate of graduation." And you guys head down. Lieutenant Runa, and also those of you who are in the audience, as they're moving down between the chairs, the audience is pretty silent, as it would normally be. But you do hear a couple people clearing their throat. There's an speaking of which, I meant to ask you this a while ago, Durlock, but so much has been going on I forgot. What who of Samson's family would be here?
His mother would be there, and probably one of the hands from the ranch.
Okay, so let's I'm looking for something to be I'll just edit this. Uh, just grabbing some tokens for two individuals. You happen to kind of catch out the corner of your eye. It's not working, of course not.
I do want to point out that I have not been home or spoke to my mother directly since I left for the academy.
Was that a decision that you made, or was it like a mutual
Yeah.
decision?
It's a decision that my character made. It
Okay.
has to do with his past.
Gotcha. Well, we'll say for now that only your mother is here. Let's see if you notice her coming down, though. Roll an insight command. Difficulty 1, because you do kind of have to look really straight ahead. If you you'll notice her out. Yeah, so you notice your mother. You notice someone who looks suspiciously like your mother out the corner of your eye as you're walking down.
And my mouth starts shivering like I'm about to cry.
You see a small smile form on her lips, and she gives you like a quick, like tiny wave of her hand, which she doesn't raise it too high. She keeps it by her lap, but you do see that.
I quickly look towards the stage to try to keep composure, towards the podium.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna look at your character sheet real quick. Make another control or fitness command as you guys approach the podium, the stage. Let me see what's that.
For someone
Ooh.
going into command, I sure suck at command.
Well, the good news is after this episode, you'll probably have enough milestones to change get that command up. But yeah, you make it to the stage. You probably stumble a bit, but nobody is gonna really notice. And if they do, they don't really make a big deal out of it, except for Mr. Johnson behind you, who just you hear him kind of chuckling under his breath. He doesn't do it too loud because he doesn't want Lieutenant Mamos or Lieutenant Runa to see or hear. But he's probably the only one who actually noticed it. All right. So as you get to the front, what is Mac? What is Lieutenant Runa doing at this moment as they're approaching the front? You there, Mac?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
She's making sure none of them are misbehaving or making sure they, are in order.
Okay.
In order. Yeah.
All right. Roll a insight security for me. Difficulty 1.
Can you roll for me?
Oh, you're not on.
No, I'm not
Okay.
on my computer.
Okay. Fair enough. Give me a second. I will also roll for Mamos. You have a complication. Oh no, it's not a complication. It's at 18. So for some reason your complication range is raised. But yeah, you as far as you can tell, everything seems in order. I'll roll for Mamos. What was it? Insight? Yeah. Insight and security. She's looking around, and you actually see I will say Samson as well as Mamos, who happens to be looking in that direction at the moment. You see Samson's mother raise her hand to her mouth and begin coughing in it. And it doesn't look like a typical cough or like a someone clearing their throat. It looks pretty pretty substantial. It's I'm not going to do it on the mic because that would be irritating to the ears, but it's definitely almost like she has a cold or something.
I was gonna say you can tell she's not well.
Yep. But Lieutenant Mamos won't say anything or do anything because it's, as far as she could tell, it's just someone who's got medical issues. It's not really something to worry about right now. But as you guys are standing up there in the line, um, from behind a curtain somewhere, well, actually, before that, Commandant Massey says, before we get to why we're all here, I would like everyone to stand for the Federation anthem. And I'm going to assume, unless you specifically tell me to, that you are going to stand, unless you specifically tell me that you're not going to. Just let me know. Also, if this is too loud, you can change the volume in the little volume audio jukebox section, but I've put it down pretty low on my end. I don't know if that affects it on your end. So it might actually be 2. Okay, there it is. Give me 1 second as it. Oh, yeah, it is real low on my end. Okay, it's a bit up now. Alright, so as the anthem is playing with all Starfleet personnel standing at attention, on the monitor is video on loop of starships doing heroic things and nebulas being explored. Basically just an inspirational video to go with the national anthem of the Federation.
I was gonna say Starfleet propaganda.
Sure. Let's see. Alright, whoops. Dealing with all these layers is the worst. Whoops, wrong one. I will just change. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Yeah, that needs to go to the other layer. So yeah, after the Federation anthem, they bring out. Well, before we get to that, what are you guys in the audience doing? Is anybody besides just sitting there watching? Is anyone doing anything? Or let me grab Karava's token real quick. There we go. If you are, just let me know.
Soth knows. Oh, please, Karava, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go first. You go first.
All I was going to say is that Soth knows that it's his duty to stand up for the national anthem, sit down, look smart, be quiet, do exactly what he's supposed to do. He is very aware that this is not his moment, and he is paying due solemn attention to everything that's going on, but otherwise remaining silent.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm gonna say Crabber might be just waving a little bit when she thinks no one's looking. She might just wave to him a little bit or whatever.
Okay.
That's about it. That's about it. Nothing too big.
And does Samson react or respond to the wave?
He would nod slightly.
Okay. And then Commandant Massey says, and now for the commencement address, President of the Federation, President Catherine Janeway. And President Janeway steps up. Well, that's a bit large. And kind of similar to the picture there, puts her hand on one of the cadets' shoulders, which probably is against the military tradition, but what the hell? um, sorry, I'm still dealing with these damn layers. There we go. So, yep, she stands there and begins giving her speech. Talking, she says, "Thank you, Commandant Massey. As you all may know, I am President Catherine Janeway." And she kind of just sighs and she says, "Today is a momentous occasion, and it's one that." And then as she goes on in her speech, your Samson's mother begins having like a coughing fit almost. Um, and beside her, probably like 3 chairs down, Cadet Hines also begins to cough a bit more. And then there starts to become kind of like a kind of hushed whispers as people are trying to understand what's going on and why they're coughing. Is specifically Samson, does Samson alter his behavior, or does he continue to stand at attention?
Are there any procedures in place if an emergency occurs?
There is usually whoever's in charge, the ranking officer will declare that emergency. Right now, it almost looks like she's like right before. When you see someone choking, but it's like they're choking on steak, but it's as it starts, so you're not really sure if they're actually choking or if it's some other, an aggressive clearing of the throat, or maybe they're joking. Like you're not really sure until their face starts changing color. So she hasn't gotten to the face changing color part yet.
Well, there's not really much I can do at the current time. If it gets worse, I'll do something, but it's other people.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to hit the broadcast button.
That's fine. I think the broadcast button. I don't think it's the same as push to talk. I don't know, but I heard what you said anyway. Let's see. Let's see. I need the people who are sitting in the audience to make a. Let's see. Where is it? A fitness or presence command check. So that'd be Karava and Chaaran. And I will roll for my character.
Do we know the difficulty in advance? And I'm guessing it's complication range, nothing, momentum pool, nothing.
Difficulty's 1. Yeah, you don't have any momentum, and the complication range just stays at 1.
All right.
What am I rolling?
Just presence or fitness command. Oof, that was mine. So me and Guy got you guys 2 momentum. So yeah, you guys are still sitting there, just observing what's going on and looking as composed as ever. But yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned that Cadet Hines was having the coughing fit as well.
Yeah.
Is Cadet Hines known to have medical issues?
Not particularly. Like, he's not really the most fit. He's kind of super lanky and thin and not very athletic, but he isn't known for having like asthma or anything like that. He's just at this point though, it's the coughing is starting to spread. And that's kind of what your role was for, to see if you guys would start coughing, which you don't. Hines actually stops coughing kind of abruptly and just kind of looks around like, what's going on? And Commandant Massey kind of makes light of it, makes a joke of it, just kind of says, "Well, get it out of your system." Thinking everyone's just clearing their throat really aggressively.
Soth, for the moment, we'll just put this down to. I forget exactly what the term is, but you can have sort of epidemics of fainting, where if one person faints, the person
Yeah.
next to them faints, and the person
Or
next to them faints.
sneezing or snoring, not
Yeah.
snoring, yawning. Yeah.
Oh,
He's putting it down
Oh.
to that for the moment.
Okay.
or if somebody starts coughing, it's like a ripple effect to
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah. All right. So the president goes on with her continues on with her speech, and they begin. When she finishes her speech, she starts handing out diplomacy certificates to each of them, and they begin, listing the names. Um, Ensign promoted Cameron, Adam, and then one of the bullies gets his certificate. Um, Ensign promoted Hartman, Anna, and the other one gets hers. Ensign promoted Scott, Rudy, and another gets theirs. And then the president stands in front of Mr. Sampson, presenting his diplomacy, his certificate. Ensign promoted Sampson, James, and she gives him a big smile.
Thank you, ma'am.
She nods and says, "Welcome to the greatest family in the galaxy," and gives him a huge smile and hands him the certificate. As she hands him the certificate, Commandant Massey, who did this with the previous 3 cadets, goes up and pins an ensign rank on Samson's collar.
He kind of flourishes it a little.
All right. Massey smiles and gives you a nod. And at that point, as they move on to another individual to kind of give their certificate, you see your mother begin coughing even greater, and she slumps out of her seat and onto the floor.
When I see that, I just immediately rush to where she is, forgetting completely about the assembly.
Okay, as you're doing that, other cadets begin to look worried and start to move, but Commandant Massey says, "Everyone stay where you are. We'll take care of this." And Massey runs alongside you, or kind of right behind you, towards your mother as you guys make it over there. Lieutenant Mamos also heads in that direction. President Janeway remains with the cadets up front. Where's Lieutenant Rona going?
She's going over to check on Durlock's mom.
Okay.
Simpson's mom.
Do you have empathy as a talent?
Yes.
Okay. So you are starting to feel from the mother a bit of fear and a bit of pain and extreme discomfort. But you're also starting to feel this from multiple people in the audience, and whatever is happening seems to be expanding outward from Miss Sampson, Mrs. Sampson, I guess we'll call her. So there's Hines begins coughing and it begins experiencing chest pain as well. So I'm gonna need Karava and Chaaran to make that fitness or presence command roll, difficulty 3. You have 2 momentum.
Well, I think it's only fair that we take one each, as it were, unless you don't particularly want to take one.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Difficulty 3, you say?
Yep.
If normal rules apply... Oh,
Determination.
If normal rules apply, I'll give you a threat as well. So I've used 1 momentum, 1 threat.
All right, fair enough.
It's difficulty 3, yeah. Cool. All right.
So you guys are back up to 2 momentum with his roll.
Oh,
ooh, wow.
Right.
Still with 2 momentum, though. So yeah, you begin to feel chest pain and you start coughing. You have Chaaran starts to have that kind of phlegm build up, start a kind of feeling in his chest, and he just starts coughing as well. Karava, you feel absolutely fine. A couple of others in the audience begin coughing as well. Nothing seems to be going beyond coughing. Nobody's spitting up blood or puking or anything like that. But it is an extreme cough. We'll just say it that way. Runa, give me an insight security difficulty 2 roll.
Can you roll for me?
Oh right, yeah. Do you want to use momentum or no?
Yes.
How many? We have 2. You have 2.
I'll use the 2.
Okay. So let's see. Move that back to 1. Security. Yeah, your security's horrible. Well, it's not horrible, but it's not great. Wow, you did get a 20 this time. But the good news is you got 3 successes. So that puts you up to 1 momentum. All right. Do you want? Oh yeah, you only got 1 momentum, so you can't get rid of that complication. So you actually see it in the audience, because at this point people are standing up, but you see somebody with kind of a golden tint to their skin, kind of like a golden pale tint to their skin, and a flash of yellow and pale yellow in their eyes. They're wearing a gold Starfleet uniform, but you see them moving away while everyone else is kind of moving towards the commotion and trying to see what's going on, see if they could help. This person is moving out and trying to basically get to the doors. And as they're doing that, the commandant shouts, "Lock down the amphitheater. We're on quarantine." What does Runa do?
I yell out, stop that man right there.
So make a presence command roll because I'll do that for you because we don't know if anyone's going to hear you over the commotion or if anyone's going to know who you're talking about. So I will roll presence command for you. You have 1 momentum. Do you want to use it? The difficulty is going to be 2.
Can I get a spend 2 threat?
You want to give me 2 threat? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you're up to 4. Let's see if people hear. Ooh, they do. You've got 3 successes. I said the difficulty was 2, or did I say it was 3? Should have already forgotten.
I seem to recall it was 2.
2.
2.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So then that puts you up to 2 momentum, and several security. Well, actually, we'll start since Karava is a security cadet. Does Karava, you look in the direction that Runa is kind of announcing towards, and you see what looks to be you only see the back of them because they're moving towards the exit, but it looks like somebody in a gold Starfleet uniform, short dark hair, running towards one of the many exits in the amphitheater, and there are 2 security guards kind of trying to converge on them. Does Karava also?
She goes in to help apprehend them.
All right. So Karava hops over the chairs and begins making her way towards them. Commandant Massey and Samson, you guys are kind of standing above Mrs. Samson. Mr. Durlock, can you give me an insight, medicine, or science roll to see if you can figure out what's going on with her?
Sure, give me a sec.
Sure.
As a question of clarification whilst making that roll, is this somebody in the sort of engineering yellow, or is this old school gold?
This is the all good things gold uniform.
Right, okay.
All right. So reason science, cool. You got 2. You believe that she has, as you're like inspecting her, you don't see anything that would give you any suspicion as to it, it being an artificial attack of any kind, other than the fact that it's spread the way it did. But you can tell that it is some kind of infectious disease that you start to see the kind of yellowish phlegm emitting from the corner of her mouth as she continues to cough. Thankfully, no blood though. So, what does Samson want to do?
Did you give my mother a first name yet?
I mean, I can give her one right now with my random name generator, if you want.
Well, I can just make one up.
Okay.
My character refers to her by first name.
Okay, yeah. What is it? I'll write it down.
Janet.
What was it?
Janet.
Janet. All right, Janet Sampson. All right. So what's he do?
Janet, are you? Have you been in contact
Janet.
with anybody that's sick?
Can you repeat that, Durlock? I didn't hear you. Sorry, someone
Hey,
spoke over you.
I asked her if she was in contact with anybody that was sick.
She's still coughing, and she just shakes her head. Not really. You could tell she's starting to become delirious, though. But you're not sure if the shaking of her head is telling you no, or if she's trying to tell you that she doesn't know, or that she can't really answer as she's coughing. But she is shaking her head.
We need a medic here.
Do we have any cadets who are medical inclined? I don't think so. I think we have the security and I'll get rid of them since they're not here. Yeah, actually, we have 2 security. Sorry, Mac, were you going to say something?
Will Runa make it over to Durlock's mom? Simpson's mom?
Yeah, we'll say that you're right behind Cadet or Ensign Sampson, along with Lieutenant Mamos. Karava is making her way towards the individual towards near the exit. Is Charon heading that way as well, Edgeford?
Since that there was an order to stop that man, if Soth is in a position to stop that man, he would have taken part in that.
Right.
But if it becomes clear that he's superfluous to requirements, he's aware that he's showing symptoms. So if it's dealt with,
yeah,
he
at the moment,
remain,
at the moment, his symptoms is just like light coughing. It hasn't gotten to the point where he's debilitated like Janet is. So yeah, he can make his way towards this individual. The 2 security officers have stopped, kind of like 6 feet away from this individual, who has also stopped at this doorway. The doors are locked at this point, so the man has also stopped. And as you're approaching him from behind, but these other security officers have stopped and kind of are looking at him in shock, and their hands are on their phasers, but they don't make a move to do anything.
Right. I suspect I'm going to, or rather, Soth is going to see something terrible when this person turns around, but the thing that would be going through Soth's mind isn't that this is a culprit or somebody, but that it was somebody panicking, and the one thing that we want to avoid is a panic.
Yep.
So he is just going to say words to the effect of, "Thank you for stopping. If you could just please kindly return to your seat, and I'm sure everything will be handled shortly." So he's trying to bring down the temperature and not cause a scene.
Make a presence command roll, difficulty 5.
Okay. So, presence command. I do have applicable foci this time.
And
I am... Oh, carry on.
no, I was just going to tell you, while you're doing that, I want Runa, Commandant Massey is going to tell you to find some medical professionals, because in this amphitheater there is somebody who knows medicine. Find them and bring them to Janet and the others immediately.
Right. So I'll use a point of threat to go up to 3 dice, and if I may, I'll use the... Because he's all in, this minute, so forth. Actually, no, none of my values quite apply, so I'll use 2 threat to purchase 2 dice. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
Fortunately, the reason why I didn't spend momentum is I thought a complication may arrive.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing you want to get rid of that complication with those 2 momentum.
Yeah.
All right. So How far away are you from? Are you about the same distance as the other security, 6 feet or more or less?
Yeah, that appears to be the natural kind of perimeter that's formed, and getting too close up behind this person's back may startle them. So no.
Okay. So as you say this, you can tell number one, unnaturally this person has not moved a millimeter. Like your character automatic, like you don't even see this character breathing. And then as this character's head turns, you see a Sung type android staring back at you.
Okay, I'm assuming. I mean, some type androids aren't anything weird here. Does this person do a sort of unsettling exorcist head turn, or is this a normal turnaround?
It's, you know what? At first I was gonna say it's a normal just turn and give you a scary look, but
Hmm.
I think I will go with the Exorcist head turn just because it's a great idea, and it kind of conveys the whole horrifying android killing machine that I am going for. So yes, that's what it does.
Okay, all right. Now, I'm assuming that Soft is not armed at this
No,
presentation.
it is not.
So
Or
that's
nobody
okay.
nobody is armed but the security personnel, which
Yeah.
they are not drawing
Uh,
their weapon at somebody who looks like Commander Data.
Okay, that makes sense. Is he sort of, covered in blood? Is he? I'm guessing
Nope.
not. Is he holding something that looks like a vial he's smashed or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. It's interesting that a Sung type android would run because he would be immune.
That is definitely
So,
interesting.
okay, since he hasn't snapped, he's just giving a very odd look. Soph is going to rely on the sentience of Sung type androids. And say, is it a male Sung type android?
Yeah, it looks exactly like
Okay.
Data.
Oh, okay. It's law. He'll say,
Who knows?
sir, it could be, sir, if you could just please explain to me what is concerning you. We may be able to do something about it.
The rest of his body turns with his head to stare at you, and who disappeared? Mac. Okay.
Yeah, Mac.
He says, "I have somewhere to be. That is all. I was not aware that I was going to be locked down this way."
Unfortunately, area's under quarantine, so we'll have to remain here till the present time.
He looks to both of you and says, "I understand. That is acceptable." Despite the creepy way he looked at you, he seems to be acting very agreeable at the moment.
And you mentioned he was in a gold Starfleet uniform. What is his rank? Just
Full
quickly
commander.
looking at him.
Full commander.
Okay, all right. This is not some green behind the ears person that would
Mm-mm.
make mistakes. So, okay.
Make
Well,
a insight security, both security officers. Meanwhile,
Insight security.
while you're doing that, Runa and Samson, being that the place is locked down, developing a cure is a really difficult thing to do in this situation. However, Runa, has Runa found a medical professional who may or may not be carrying a med kit?
She would have been looking through the list of personnel who's here, is qualified to be is a qualified medical personnel.
Okay. You find someone. It is one of the family members of the cadets. And we'll just say, for the sake of argument, it's this lady right here. Her mother is a actual doctor, so she has kind of along with the medical kit that another officer basically anytime you have a large gathering like this you always have medical people around, but probably in addition to medical supplies, but probably the most qualified person would be this lady's mother. She comes over to look at James Sampson, Ensign Sampson, and Lieutenant Runa, and she begins handing you a couple of different vials, and she's got a hypo spray in her hand, and she says, "This will relax the inflammation and take away some of the pain, but as for the whatever is infecting your mother, we need to probably get her to an infirmary of some sort. She says, I need you to mix those two vials 50 or no, 40, 60 exactly. She says to you two. So I need both of you to make an insight or reason, medicine or science roll. One of you can assist if you would like, instead of making both of you roll.
Well, what's your science at?
I'm science 5.
You do the primary, I'll do the support.
Okay, difficulty is
Can you
2.
ro-
Yeah, I'll roll for you. Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
forgetting. Let's see. Insight, science. And you have infectious diseases as a focus, so that'll definitely apply. Alright, you both got
Yes.
it. And now she is going to apply it. I don't have a character sheet for her, so I will just roll some random 2d20. A 2 and a 8. So that's probably 3 successes, we'll just say. So yeah, she gives the injection to your mother, who stops coughing and is able to look up to James Sampson with like red tear-filled eyes. But you could still see she's still sick. Her skin is pale except for like her throat and her eyes. But yeah, she just looks up to you and she says, "I'm sorry for ruining your perfect moment."
You're fine, Janet. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Besides, it was more Dad's moment than mine.
Alright. So, Mr. Charan and Miss Karava, what are you doing?
What are the results of our insight roll?
I-
We got 2 apiece.
Yeah, I accidentally had 1 dice, so I rolled the 1 dice twice.
Oh, okay. I just looked at that. I didn't even notice that. So yeah. So 2 and 2 and so I didn't say a difficulty, did I?
No, you didn't say
Okay.
difficulty.
So you, as far as you could tell, he's standing completely still, not moving an inch, and he's basically complying with the orders given to lock down and quarantine this location. However, you notice very, very, very too late that he's actually been moving extremely slowly towards you until he's about 4 feet from you, and then he moves extremely quickly towards you.
Lunging distance.
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna need you both to make reflex checks. That is gonna be daring security. It's gonna be against his daring security, which I don't have a data character sheet, so I'm gonna have to roll my dice. I'm gonna spend a threat to basically get 3 dice. 1, 2. So I have 4 successes. What do you guys have?
Ooh.
I got-
Well,
2.
yeah. Let me have a roll. Wait a moment.
You want to give me threat or
Yeah.
use momentum? Or
I have
so
a 3. Go down by 1.
Uh,
Yeah.
So
Could I use threat or...
sorry.
okay.
Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
No, it's all good. I was gonna say, could I use threat or momentum to add dice, but I just rolled it. That's
Yeah,
it's a good.
yeah, you gotta do it before. So Charon only does not get the brunt of his attack. You kind of get just shoved aside as this Soong type android sprints past Karava, and like knocks Karava to the ground. You both are able to tell that he is not attempting to physically harm you in any way. Like the most he did was knock Karava to the ground, and you might have a bruised ass. That's pretty much it.
What is he? Yeah. What is he heading toward?
The window, and that is when the window explodes and
no.
he flies through it, And this is not like you're not on ground level, so he lands like several stories down in a superhero pose, and then begins running.
I was about to say, as he was going, is there an opportunity to like dash after him and desperately try to slam him into the ground before he gets there? But
can you jump out of a window that's like 5 stories high?
No. I was thinking before he got to the window, and it goes, he's probably immediately
no,
chased ground.
that's what. I mean, you failed your daring roll. That would have been what
Fair
that
enough.
would have been. You'd have been able
Fair
to
enough.
roll for that if you had made it. But no, he knocked a guy straight to the ground and just kind of pushed you aside, knocked you off your balance, and made it out.
Karova, she has a nemesis now. She's gotta kick his ass.
Go down 5. Well, of course, if we now run out, we only make the breach of quarantine worse.
Yeah, a force shield has gone up already where the glass is broken, or the
Yeah.
transparent aluminum has been broken.
Yeah, I'll message to security to try and get them to put a force field around him as he's as he's trying to escape. As he's escaping.
All right. A lieutenant commander calls you back and says that we located him with our sensors, but immediately after he was transported up to one of the dozen or so civilian transports in orbit that were leaving the system. So there's no hope of catching him.
Curses. Darn it. Well, I was the last one who'd have done a thing, but well. So
He might show up in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so you have administered Janet's quote-unquote cure. This woman's mother begins administering it to the others who have gotten infected, and at this point, since you're so close, you've gotten infected too. So she begins hypospraying all of you. You're not coughing, you're not, in any pain or anything, but you do begin to feel that flu kind of weakness that comes over you when you get the flu. You're just like you just feel really down and weak, and Commandant Massey basically declares this a medical emergency, quarantines the amphitheater to the point where they're basically going to grab all the medical people they could find and triage everyone and set up like a science lab to develop a cure, which he's going to put Samson. He's actually going to go over to Runa and say, kind of out of earshot of Samson, he's going to say, Lieutenant Runa, I want you to oversee this this project that when we set up this lab, but I want you to let Ensign Sampson be the lead scientist on the project. It was his mother, after all, that was the apparent target of that, whatever that was.
I agree. Yes, sir.
He nods and heads back to he heads over towards the president, but he's at this point everyone is basically getting infected, so it doesn't really matter where in the amphitheater he goes, but he heads over and all right. So yeah, go ahead and set up you guys' lab to kind of get started on trying to come up with a permanent cure for whatever this disease is. I'll let you decide on who you want to be involved in that and how you're gonna start. Like, what are you gonna do first? I'll let y'all figure that out.
Well, I think our first step should be identifying what it is, so we definitely need to take blood samples from everybody showing symptoms.
All right. So who's doing the blood sample taking? Because that's gonna be a roll.
I guess Samson can do it.
All right. It's gonna be a medicine roll though, not a science roll, because it is kind of.
Yeah, bad idea for
Yeah.
Aaron to do it.
Let me look at your character sheet, see what your medicine is. It's a 1. Yeah.
My medicine is 1.
Yeah. So let's see. Um, we'll say what's Runa's medicine? Is it 4? It's 3. Am I the only one who, if I am a medical or science officer, then the other one is gonna be my next best thing? I must be the only one that does that. um, anyway,
I've done something. Yeah.
so like if I'm ops and my engineering is 5, my science is automatically 4. But if I'm medical or science, then if I'm medical, then my science is the next lowest, and if or next highest, and if I'm medical, and vice versa.
Yeah, I tend to do that as well.
Um, let's see. Hey, Mac, your thing says experimental tech. What is the experimental tech? Do you remember?
I haven't figured that out.
Well, don't you
Uh,
have like prosthetic arm because you lost your arm?
yeah,
Maybe we could say that it's experimented. It's experimental.
yeah.
I'm actually gonna write that real quick, before I forget, because we will all forget that. We probably actually already talked about it and already forgotten it. All right. So yeah, I'll say if oh, you're leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'll ask Durlock then. Do you want to continue, or do we want to just say that hypospray is kind of the cure, and you guys will eventually figure out a cure, and that'll be great, and then get to basically um, Mr. Sampson's assignment of what ship he's going to be assigned to. It's up to Durlock if you want to, which one you want to do.
I really don't want to continue without Mac, so we can call it here.
Okay. Um, so I'm gonna your character's gonna be assigned to a Nova class ship called the USS Nightingale. It's a medical and science survey ship that is basically stationed at a star base over by the Cardassian Federation border, and you're going to be obviously the rank of ensign, but because of your command, and this is going to be after your command school, obviously, but because you're going to command school, you're going to be eligible for being the assistant chief science officer of that ship within like a month or two. So you'll probably be lead chief science officer in less than a year. So that's kind of what the Commandant Massey and basically the personnel command center, their orders are gonna basically entail. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. There was a little bit more about finding a cure and everything, but again, you guys, when that's kind of like, I mean, you're on Earth, so it's not like you guys are gonna. I did write a separate, like, whole other ending just for the hell of it to basically say that the whole Earth got infected, and now, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna say that's not the case in this case. Yep. So Samson is now an ensign. Besides Velik, and yeah, I think he's the first actual graduate in over a year of Starfleet Academy in my games anyway.
Huzzah.
So, does anyone have any questions or comments or anything like that?
No, not really. It
Oh,
was really fun.
I'm glad because let me go ahead and tell you. So, your character is going to get an arc milestone. Um, so, if you want to change your, which I mean, I guess you could change your stats with a spotlight or a normal milestone, but if you wanted to add command and put it up to 3, you can totally do that. Um,
I
or
definitely. I,
actually, you know what? This is up to you. I know it can be a pain in the ass to do this, but if you want to, the new character generator has a cadet. You can actually create cadets now on it. So if you wanted to make your character from scratch, you could do that too. It's totally up to you.
I might do that, but I'll let you know within the next week what I decide.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put. Oh, I can't change it. For some reason, I can't change the arc milestone. That's weird. So I'll just go ahead and put it in your notes that you have an arc milestone. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm not doing reputation for this episode just because it was such a. Actually, you know what? I am gonna give everyone 3 reputation dice to roll because Karava, Chaaran, Samson, you guys did pretty good engaging with the android or, creating a cure. So I'll also roll for Runa's character. So yeah, 3 reputation for that, but no milestones for anyone except for Samson because it's kind of
Of course.
his episode. But yeah, I thought we had more year 4 cadets, but then I looked at it and I was like, huh, I guess we only have the 2 and one already graduated. All right, what did I roll? Oof. Good thing complications don't remove reputation anymore. That's stupid anyway. All right. So that's pretty much
That,
it.
there isn't much about reputation that's not stupid.
Yeah, you know what? I keep wanting to change reputation and combat and extended tasks and all this other stuff, but I just never have time because I know season 5's coming up, Starfleet Academy season 2 is coming up, the infamous player evil campaign is coming up, and like I just don't have time to change everything the way I want to do it. I thought I would, but things come up. But
Yeah, these things happen.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. It didn't last as long as I thought it would.